Yo, yo, what's up, everybody? We're gonna get started here. We're actually gonna do some drawing, but thought I'd take a couple minutes to go over some experiments I've been doing this week. Should have been working on some commissions, but I had some downtime on professional work, so um, I used it to figure out some stuff that I want to do technique-wise, pretty shortly. So, what you're looking at here is not my line art. This is classic Bill Watterson, Calvin and Hobbes. Matter of fact, here, let's see if I can bring this up. This should be the original. There's the original, right? There is the original strip as it was produced. Beautiful, beautiful work. So I extracted the line arts and then did a watercolor pass digitally. It's a digital watercolor. It's all fake. It's all fake art like me. But we can come in here and zoom, get a good look at that. Right? Like that. That's pretty good. I've done a few watercolor pieces in my time, folks. And, like, look at this. Look, I mean, obviously, this glowy thing is some Photoshop touchy here, right? But it works too, right? That's a little bit extra pop, right? But I mean, that you'd be hard pressed to think that was all digital, right? So, yeah, and it was totally manageable. So, reasonably manageable. So, um, I went and also did a quick little test. This stuff I don't. This I posted, but I normally don't post this sort of thing. So this was an ink test that I did 4 years ago. My ink brushing has gotten way better since this. But I went and did this right here, looking at this cover, kind of just try to get the brushes kind of working, right? To kind of in my favor, to kind of test out some texturing. And then what I did, right? There's always a good little exercise. I went and added. We're gonna draw some Ninja Turtles. Give me a second. So then what I did is I went and added my brushwork on top of this. Now, can you tell what is the digital and what is the traditional? Right, watch this, watch this. Turn it off. Look at that. That's the original. And then that's really hard to tell the difference, right? Why does this all fucking matter? It matters because I care. I think the thing to remember, folks, is you're gonna all ask me like in a year from now, how did you do this? And I'm gonna be like, I kind of like explain it in other videos, but yeah. So this is the kind of stuff that like I do on my free time, you know. But I'm gonna be doing a lot of this kind of watercolor digital work really, really soon. So, um, and then what I had to do was anytime I sort of figure something out, I get all excited, but then I have to like kind of like go back to square one, right? Take a break, take a break. Took the night off, watched some anime, and we're gonna draw some Donatello. So, this was a blobby I did. Now a lot of you folks have been asking me when we gonna see you draw, and I'm like, man, I draw all the time. But um, I thought I'd at least share this one. So why don't we just work on some of these proportions here? This is a blobby I blobbed in like a couple days ago. And it's a guide. It's not like a tracing over thing. So, let's see here. Want to see some other blobbies I came up with on this one? I came up with this one, right? That's pretty good. It's pretty good. But I went with this, right? So, and then I was doing something there. And then, I don't know. This is the one I went with. Hey, what's up, Allison? I hope you're doing well. Yeah, once they start producing the digital watercolor stuff, then they're gonna be like, I want to get the brushes. The brushes do the work. Yeah, I know you do. I know you do. I know. But I'm pretty much all using like Kyle's brushes at this point. So if you want them, you gotta go pay for Photoshop. I can't send you his paid brushes. And they will. They will. Probably also helps that I've spent the last 10 years watercoloring, you know? So like I understand how all of it works in real life. I just have no interest in waiting for the paper to dry. Like it just takes too long. So, and they used to do a technique. Watterson and them did a technique in the 80s and in the 90s that it's kind of hard to do now. And they would print their line, they would ink, the drawing's ink, right? So they have an ink drawing. And then what they do, and this is how the Dark Knight was colored, right? Dark Knight Returns. And then what they do is those inks get printed onto like a Bristol board, but it's using like, it's done at an actual print house using like toner and shit. So like, or like Heidelberg. So those lines are waterproof, and and then they print out the inks onto clear acetate, and there's little registration marks. They all line up and shit. And kind of can't do that anymore. So I have no interest in doing the whole drawing on one thing. I dislike the look. No, have fun, bud. Have fun. Wear a mask. That was my dream to wear masks in public when I was a kid. Ninja masks and shit. Now we can do it. Everyone's like, no. I'm like, you never really wanted to be ninjas. You all lied. They all lied. No one ever really wanted to be a ninja. They just wanted to like murder people. It's never about like concealing themselves in the shadows. It's like, no, we just wanted to walk around with a sword and kill people. I'm like, all right. These proportions are a little bit more stretched out than I would normally do, but it's for, since it's a single character pinup. Yeah, I should turn that into perspective. But yeah, it's a shame, Allison. You're recovering. Would be fun to chat. Hey, what's up, Leonardo? Yeah, at some point. But I gotta. This is a commit. This is why I don't like taking commish. You know, because you just end up drawing a lot of the same thing or rando shit. So after this next wave of commish, I'll just go back to drawing my own shit and selling it again. So we'll see. We'll see. All good. Can't hear anything. The screen's kind of frozen. Nothing is happening. I don't know, Kanza. It's all working over here. I can. The light is on. Yeah. I'm not talking the whole time. You know. I mean, by myself. Hey, what's up, Sergio? Hola. Let's get that boot. Boot to the head. I don't speak Spanish, but I did spend summers in Mexico. Uh, I found I don't, no one bothered to teach me, and I'm kind of horrible with English, so I just drew things when I needed stuff. Turns out a toilet looks like a toilet in pretty much any country, you know? So if you really got to go to the bathroom, you just draw a toilet. You're good to go. Ano hola. And gracias. Por favor. Please and thank you. You right? Like it's always a good thing to learn. Manners. Manners. So important. So important. Alright, let me take this arm a little bit. And just see if I can't angle this back a little bit more. That's good. And then I'll take this looks like kind of blow up a little bit. I'm gonna blob in the shell here. Let me grab my turtles roughy so I can sample the colors. Easier to blob and color than it is to just do rando these days. What's up, Itchy? Itch thee. The beta for Berserk Boy is happening right now. So if you'd like to get in on the beta, if you go to the Berserk Boy Discord, you can sign up. Berserk Boy, Berserk Boy game, Berserk Boy. Am I seeing a ghost or up? Yeah, I don't feel like having the camera on me. So just join something like this for the first. Oh, nice, Kanza. Sweet. Well, super glad to have you. Super glad to be hanging out. Super glad. Can you please explain the purpose? Drawing. I'm just drawing and sharing my process. So this is going to be a commission. Where can you sign up? There's a link to the Discord, right? On the Berserk Boy Twitter, right? If you go to Zoo's Berserk Boy Twitter, um, like there's a Discord, you can get in there and get in this weekend while you still can, my friend. Will help with debugging too, because there's always glitches, my friend. Always glitches. So I'm gonna copy, paste, and of course that doesn't save there. So I'm just gonna move that over here so I can just sample from that. This will make life a little easier for Rob. So we can be yours. Oh, hey. Sort of. I mean, you can ask questions and stuff, you know? I will answer them for certain, you know? Little bastard. I don't want to make them too thick here, you know? Like, I want the shell, but I don't want, like, I don't want to overdo it. There's this like mid area. So I try to like angle the back shell a little bit in the same way that they originally had tails back in the 80s, but they look like little dicks. So they got rid of those. I never liked that analogy, but I would get it from my parents and friends, you know. What's the difference between you think the difference between traditional uh, time and changes? So I'll be coloring this traditionally with color pencil. So I do both, but like it's just harder to get paints to work. There's shifting in color, it takes longer to time. So, I've tried the best, to like blend as much as I can together. Hence like this is all digital, right? This coloring, this drawing's not mine. This is Bill Watterson, but this is all digital watercolor. So I could have painted this in watercolor, but it would have taken me a lot longer. I did this in like an hour. That coloring all this in an hour, you know. So, so the cool part is you get the physical art. The problem is people want content. So it's like the longer you take, the less content you can make. So you gotta like trade off these days. I tend to save traditional for like commissions and stuff. Um, or if I do professional work, I'll pencil and ink covers and interiors and stuff. But like I'll it's a whole thing, man. Like you know. I think one informs the other. You're best to do both, you know. But these days and age, unless you're a super genius illustrator, you're gonna have to do some digital work at some point because of changes. You work with publishers, they're gonna want changes, you know, and making changes to physical art is a freaking nightmare. For me, the only hard part with digital is just getting used to the canvas. With the page, with paper, you have edges, but with canvas, you can zoom in, and with digital, you can zoom in, and it just triples your workload. So it took a long time to figure out like what is the right canvas size, zoom ratios and stuff, just so I'm working responsibly and not overdoing it. Real nice if I didn't just break all that off. I don't know if I want to do a giant banner. Hey, what's up, Ashley? I have to do one of those different type of bandanas for my own shit because when people buy a commission, they kind of expect they're gonna get. I gotta work out this bow staff because it don't look right. It has to keep things consistent. Yes, especially as you change and grow. Especially as you change and grow. That's why when you're working on one thing for like a year, it's like or more, it's like you're gonna change. So like that's the downside, right? And that's gonna change in the book. It's a problem. It's a problem. And once you get real consistent, like if you're drawing like regularly, then like folks don't like it when you change. Like that's the thing I like. Why'd you change the look? You know, book looked better 6 issues ago. Best to just allow it to look. What I would do, this is too late for you, but I would have just broken it into sections. So as the art changes, just make that a chapter break and be like, end of part one, right? And then part two. And so part two can look different than part one. you know, as opposed to page 16 looking different than page 15. Listening as I drive to WonderCon, you must keep me entertained. Say hi to Sean and Rob Liefeld and Scotty Young. Everyone's down there. Pretty much. Just don't be redrawing art, Ashley. You know what I'm saying? Your art looks great. Your art looks great, Ashley. I just don't want to see you redrawing art. You're never going to achieve like the perfect. This is how I draw now. It just doesn't happen. Not for artists like you. Artists like Ashley keep getting better. You know? Bow staff's a little on the long side. It's a little on the long side. Do, 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 do. It's nice to. I'll take a nice long walk today. Oh, nice. I got one of those. Sorry, 1 second. Let me clear my throat. Sorry. Yeah, I bought one of those little mini steppers, so I can get all my steps in now at home. Use it with the kettlebell, so it's really helped with just dealing with that. So when I go out walking, I like to walk now for fun as opposed to for exercise, right? Oh, hey, look, Allison's here. 1 second. Yeah, I can't see you waving because you're off screen, but I hear the little bloop, right?
Yeah.
So if for some reason I don't hear it or doesn't make the noise, Allison, just go into the public chat, not the
Yeah.
private
No,
one, and
you're.
just say I'm here. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. I would yell at you there.
Oh.
That would work.
Did you hear any of the stuff I was talking about with the watercolor, Allison?
Yep. I did. I had everything on the background. I just, I'm taking a small pharmacy of medication right now, so uh, actually a
Yeah,
bit
but enough
more.
about you. Like,
What?
I'm being facetious.
Yeah.
No,
Why don't you join us? I mean, come on.
I'm trying to stay healthy, Allison. Like, to describe this to my wife, like it's really important we stay healthy. I don't think she understands. How much trouble it is for folks.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, what was it? I should say I'm taking like a medium-sized pharmacy now because I was taking a small pharmacy before.
Do you
Oh,
ever watch the movie The Disorderlies
yep.
with the fat boys? Remember when they were like, they had to take all these pills, and there was that one where they stopped taking their pills and they got better, but then it didn't work.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of like flowers for Algernon.
Mm-hmm. Uh,
But yeah,
I'm liking Donnie.
it's a little tricky with singular characters because you want to fill the page up a little bit, so you kind of like proportions get a little bit longer than they probably would.
Yeah.
Who cares? But yeah, so I said I've been working hard on like I mean, can you tell which part right here is the digital?
When I first looked at it, no.
Right.
I was just looking at it and I'm like, oh, that looks like a Watterson. And then like I was like, what did he change? And I pulled out my book and looked and went, oh damn, that's good.
Yeah, so I've been working like the past. You'll see like if you go back 3 or 4 years, you'll see little tests here and there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been a lot of tests, and finally I was like, I think I can do it now. Like like a whole thing, because I'll be honest, the only way anyone's ever gonna see a comic from me, like in which like my own thing, is if I can do the whole thing in watercolor. Like it's
Yeah.
the only thing I'm interested in doing. Like I'm not interested in doing digital painted backgrounds. I'm not interested in making anything look like it was made today. Like it might be my age. It's true, but it's weird. I didn't hold a giant like Kyle and I were talking about this because I told him I thought newsprint looked better. And he goes, "Is that
Yeah.
nostalgia?" I'm like, "No, because at the time I didn't think newsprint looked better. I was the one pushing for the glossy papers and shit. But it was Spawn issue 9 where I started to shift because that was the one where Steve Oliff talked Todd into doing full glossy. And come to
Yeah.
find out, like Steve Oliff regretted that. Like it was just a thing he did to make his colors pop. He was just doing it as a sales technique.
Yeah.
And like,
All liquid. So I mean, they were the pioneers of that. So,
well, he was all the optics, but
that's reality
yeah, I
optic.
mean, a lot of those guys ended up leaving and forming their own, which put all the optics out of business. But
Yeah.
like Steve Oliff was like, I probably shouldn't have done that because everyone went to that glossy paper, and then everything just looked really bad for a long time. Some people like it, but it just there's a cheapness to it I can't describe. It's like when people put like if you ever get the Appleseed editions that Eclipse put out, they all have that cool matte satin kind of cover. But when
Yes,
Dark Horse did it, they did the glossy cover, and there's something cheap about the glossy lamb. I
it doesn't
can't.
look as good.
No, it doesn't feel good too. It feels
No.
cheap. And unfortunately, even on my old Calvin Hobbes, eventually that glossy lamb peels. Then you just end up with like, sunburn skin on your
Hmm.
graphic novels.
Yep. Yeah, you get that.
Yeah.
No, I'm a fan of newsprint. I want like I'd love to have all my stuff just done in newsprint. But there's only like one
Oh.
publisher who's doing newsprint, and um, yeah, it's just you have to go through the submission process with them. Um, Now finding a publishing house that will do newsprint, like where you can actually get it for reasonable rates, that'd be awesome.
I'll have to talk to you off air, but I have a plan for that.
Oh, you
So
do you? Oh, I definitely
yeah, I
want
don't.
information on
I
that.
don't. It's not quite what you're thinking, but it is going to get there. So I just don't want to talk about it here. But
That's fine.
but
Well,
um
we talk enough as it is, so I'm sure we can talk more. So.
but yeah, I just feel um like I said, I just want whatever I'm doing to look like. Because when I look at that, when I say watercolor, I mean stuff from about I don't know 1985 to like 1991 or five, right? 1990. But there's a 10-year period. And then like after that, I think after Alex Ross shows up, everyone starts taking that shit to like another level, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
and I don't like it.
Same
I
way.
like Masamune Shirow's watercolors in the 80s. I don't give it, or Art Adams' watercolor in the 80s.
Hmm.
Past 1995, I don't like it.
I'm like the same way. I mean, I remember when I saw, was it Marvels when it first came out? I'm like, yeah, that thing's badass. And I'm
Oh
looking
yeah,
at it
what
now.
he does is badass for him. Wait,
Yeah.
no, I'm not gonna say it doesn't look good. It looks great for Alex Ross, but
Oh yeah.
one guy pulls that off. Like no one
Exactly.
else. Everyone else, it just ends up becoming this like real. It's like how much realistic rendering you can do, right? Like,
Right.
and the only other person that has produced mixed media in the last 30 years that I'm always in awe of is Nathan Fowles. Like
Yeah,
his
I
work
could agree with
is.
that. Um,
Yeah, he's super good. I ever have an
yeah,
extra couple grand lying around, I'm gonna get a piece of art of his, but
yeah, exactly.
I
When
don't
I'm
really
rich,
have an. Yeah, I don't have a couple extra grand lying around, but one day, one day.
well, it's like I'd love to get an original Bill Sienkiewicz piece, like an
That's a
electro
three
piece to
thousand
get.
dollar minimum purchase.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
I
getting something
happen to
like Electro
know.
Assassin. Yeah, it's like, oh,
Oh,
there
that's
goes all my money for a year, maybe two.
well. Unfortunately, Kevin Eastman owned all those originally, like every page,
Yeah.
and then he sold them to that dude. Who's that dude that used to like write on Seinfeld? Like Dave
Oh God, I know you're talking.
Mazar. He
Yeah.
owns all the like most of the Dark Knight Returns stuff that you see. Like a lot of those artist editions are
Mm.
pretty much his come from his collection. uh, Dave Cho talked about it on one of the Comics kayfaves
Mm.
because he got to go to the house and
See all of
you
them
know,
like
see
hanging
this
and
guy's
stuff.
place. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I mean, I got my biggest original art piece. I think is that Dave Finch piece I have, and I have it in a frame and hanging up. So, I would love to do that with more people. Um, I do it with the sketch I got from you, but I don't know where to put it. So,
I know it's just a sketch. What are you gonna do?
yeah. Well, I mean, it's like a roughy sketch. I mean, I love the Spider Man. It gives me it gives a lot of energy. I mean, I know you did it after was it Pachulo?
Bachalo, yeah, it's based off
Pachulo, yeah. I can
Bachalo.
never
Yeah,
pronounce his last name. So
yeah,
I love his art too. So
yeah. Well, I think it's important for folks to see that, you're still fans of things too, you know? So like, and it's also heartening that when I do stuff like that or the Watterson kind of redos or the color overs, I get I get you know, a I just don't. I've gotten praise, but I don't get as much uh, as my own stuff, which is nice too. Right? It's like, oh hey, But like, I get real nervous when I start recoloring, someone like Waters, because it's like I'm not trying to say the original wasn't good enough. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah.
my goal is if I can add anything to it, his art's so fucking good and the originals are so good that if I can get anywhere near adding something to it, then I know when I add it over my shit it'll work like no problem because
Yeah. Exactly.
like half the fucking artist that dude is, so like,
Yep.
yo, what's up, Psycho?
Uh,
So
oh man. Yeah. No, I'm liking this way the turtles are um looking the way you do them with this because they have like this cartoony fun to them that just like uh,
oh, thanks. Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I haven't talked about it. There's months where people don't see me posting. If you go back to like last summer to December to even January this year. It's not a lot.
hmm.
I assure everyone I was in my room working, like, but there was a point where I'm like, what am I trying to do here? Like what am I trying to do? And
Yeah.
I just gave myself. I don't want to use declaration of principles because that implies a whole nother level of trouble. But I
Yep.
definitely like solidify what I'm trying to do and for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So bringing the emotion and the acting back in the poses and applying stretch and squash when I can.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just
You get
not
the
interested
animation
in.
pieces.
Yeah, I'm not interested in just characters standing there stoically. The Jim Lee thing anymore.
Yeah.
Like I'm just not doing it. So it's the trick is to not over parody yourself, right?
Right.
So
Yeah,
you
we
don't
were
want to
talking
just
about that a few times.
yeah, you can go too far and then be like everything starts getting weirder and weirder. So that's something to think about. But we need psychotic poses. Yeah, I just want to make sure you don't do it at the like wherever you go, just pull it back 5% or 10%.
Yeah, exactly. Uh,
But I have some interesting. Uh, some people took some commissions that are pretty basic, but I have some interesting alternates I'm gonna post too.
oh, cool.
So
I think I don't know. One of my ways of looking at trying to do single character pose shots is I try to always make them look like they're in motion. I think
well,
that's
I mean, gesturals help with that, and
yeah.
trying to get the gestural, as much of the gestural on page
Hmm.
before you start. You know, people like not you. I'm saying
Oh yeah, no, you're
figuratively,
using
right?
you as a
Like,
generalized term. I know.
yeah. But we tend to like when you clean it up. That's when the people lose the energy. And they're
Yeah.
like, "Look, it's clean now." You're like, "Yeah, good job. Sketch was better." I mean, that really hurt my feelings in an art department when I propose a thumbnail to my art director one second.
Hmm.
And then he'd approve it, and then I'd be at my table for 6 hours, and he'd come over and go, "Sketch was better. Fix it." I'm like, you know,
Yep.
it's not good.
No, no, it's not good at all. Oh man. So you're gonna watercolor these?
These are gonna be color pencil,
Okay.
but I'll do. I don't know about this one, but I might practice on one of these. I got to digitally ink and color that Turtle Van piece for the Mega
Yeah.
Visions cover. I'm thinking
Hmm.
about doing that as a digital watercolor, but I gotta try it. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
if I was hoping to do all that later, but I don't know. Like, well, I'll give it a shot, and if it doesn't work, I won't be posting while I'm working. I want to do one first and be like, does that work? Yeah, does this work? I also
Yeah.
don't know yet if on when I do it, if I have to do the whole thing as like a color flat first in terms of like figuring out the whole color scheme of it and then
Hmm.
watercoloring. Like, well, that do I have to do that? You know, like, or do I go straight through?
Well, just
So
like putting in the values for like gray values for flats, and then kind of just go from there.
sort of, but there's a lot of color design I do. So if
Fair.
everything was having a flat local color, that'd be one thing. But there's global coloring and then color designs. I don't know yet. I don't know.
Fair enough.
I'm also not a fan of everything being colored exactly as it is on every panel. I like
Hmm.
that when you switch one or two panels and they go to a two color scheme and then back to. I've been
Yeah.
studying. I got a lot of theories about this. a lot of a lot of a lot of opinions. You know.
Watch out for Rob and his opinions.
Yeah. A little too Rob. It was funny. I was telling my wife, I'm like, yeah, it's the only thing about. So I was telling her that NECA finally put out those Secret of the Ooze figures based off the movie, right?
Hmm.
And they haven't sold out in their store. Which when when I went to go get the 1990 ones, they sold out. I mean, it was hard. I got it, but it was hard. They sold out like in three
Yeah.
seconds. And I told her, I'm like, it's because folks don't like that fucking film. Like everyone says they do, but they don't actually like it. They just like to talk about ninja rap and shit. But it wasn't that great. And I told her, I said, the only part about that film that is legitimately good is Kino's cool. That would
Hmm.
have been a good sidekick for like Casey, I think,
Yeah.
and they brought him back. And then a little too Raph. It's the one line that should have been in the first movie. She goes, that was in the first movie. I'm like, no, it wasn't. And she goes, yeah, when he says it to Kino. I'm like, Kino's not in the first movie. I had to go. I was like, look, I won't pick a fight. You just gotta think about what you're saying before you say it.
Hmm. Oh my god. Oh yeah, I remember seeing that in the theater on opening night and being like, "Oh, this is really fun," and like kind of thinking afterwards, I'm like, that wasn't as good as the first one. But I like Keto.
Well, I was already on a bad foot because they recast April. I'm like, I don't get this,
Yeah.
you know. And they were like, you know, they were like, well, she had a problem with the weapons, and I'm like, I don't. That may be true. Sigourney Weaver has a problem with guns, but she didn't have any problem being in Aliens too. I got a funny feeling, like there was these rumors on the first film that the producers didn't think Judith Hoag
Yeah.
was pretty enough, you know,
Yeah.
and I think that was their stupid fucking reason for doing it.
Most
You know.
likely, yeah. The because I know with was it Carpenter talks about not Carpenter, I'm sorry. Cameron talks about the casting of Ripley in Aliens. And as he's kind of going through it and all that, because it's like, yeah, company wants her back in and all that. 20th Century Fox wants her back in. And she's like, the only way I'm going to do this is if there's no guns, I get to have sex with an alien and die. And he's just like, well, no, that's going to happen. But it happened later. um, and then he was like, took her out to a range to have her shoot some guns. And she's like, well, that was fun. And he's like, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you can't use sharp knives and sticks against xenomorphs. Like it's just
No,
not gonna work. So, the
I gotta
weapons, the guns alone make it difficult. I mean, he did a real interesting thing there, where they're fully armored, but when they shoot the weapons at the xenomorphs, they fucking spray acid everywhere. So it doesn't help as much.
Nope. Doesn't help
like
very
you,
much.
yeah, like it helps, but it's also it can get you just as bad. Like it's not a de-solution. Like the
Oh
solution
yeah.
is really get the fuck out of there. And I guess, you
You have to
know,
think more
I
of it.
guess
Totally
well,
removed.
I'd hate to say it, James Cameron's solution to every problem was use a nuclear weapon because he's totally against it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a deadly onion, like a deadly onion game. See, she gets it.
Yeah.
You know, or what was it? What is the exploding bombs in Final Fantasy 9? Right?
Oh yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I drew one on the piece I did, but
Yep. Yeah, it's
I
on the
can't
Final
remember.
Fantasy 9 piece you did. I like that piece a lot. Final Fantasy 9 was one. I think that was my favorite PlayStation. Um, Final Fantasy.
You know, it would have been, but the problem for me is I went and got spoiled because when they first showed the concept art for that game, everyone was saying that it was going to be a Final Fantasy Tactics Online. And
Mm.
there was this concept art that looked Final Fantasy. You could see it looks a little tacticsy, right?
Yep. That's, yeah, I
And
have
it
the book
was like,
here.
yeah, when it turned out to not be the case, I was like, no, I want more tactics, so I like did not pick it up at launch. Um, I did get it uh, about maybe a year later
Mm.
when the Dreamcast was like done, and I was like, nothing else to play. So then I picked up 9, which was pretty cheap at the time.
Mm.
So then I was like, oh, it's great. I don't know what. Then I went and bought the art book, which I had to get from Japan at the time. It was not a cheap book to get.
I got that through a friend. So, it didn't actually, it wasn't really that bad for me. But yeah, it was. I have a pain in the ass cat. It's not
I
letting
don't
me
miss
jump over my
cats.
tail. What?
I don't miss cats. I love them, but they're just you got to have patience. You got to have patience. I miss
Yeah.
my cat, but I don't miss the fight. I don't miss the fight. Always a fight. My dog's malleable. I can be like, it's too much, bud. Move him around, settle him, and he just sits there. I'm like, that's good.
Yeah, everybody thinks cats just sleep all day. No, no, they don't. They torment you all day.
Yeah, my cat punishes me with eating. Yeah, I know.
Oh,
I like big boots and I cannot lie. All you other inline skates can deny. Yeah,
the only
good
reason I
times.
get punished is because I'm not fast enough with giving her treats. Yeah, yeah. No, mine definitely does punish by doing things to toilet paper and other such things. The one that was just crying, he likes to eat tape. And then I get to clean it up.
Let me flip the canvas.
Oh, he's wearing rollerblades. That makes much more sense now. And I was looking at that, I'm like, his toes are a little weird on that.
Allison. Do those look like toes, Allison?
When I was
Use
looking
your
at your
imagination.
initial Ruffy, I was like, that's kind of weird. That
Yeah.
makes much more sense now.
Yeah, I definitely kind of broke the head, but I like the look of it, so I don't give two shits. Like my cat won't touch chicken or tuna. I know. I know.
What's your shoe? I think Hobbs is going a little senile.
It's mode clear. Jump to. I don't know what that mode is. All right, jump to some weird,
I think
stupid
it
mode.
works in mysterious ways. Yeah. hell did you go? I'll know in a minute when he meows again. He's lucky he's cute. Oh.
But so, like I said, it's super exciting, like for me, like 'cause I kind of know exactly what I want to do now. But then, like,
Good.
I'm like, uh, I hope my schedule frees up. Like, it's just a little weird. Just kind of in limbo on some projects right now. I'm like, what is going on? I mean, today, well, this weekend, I was telling people is the Berserk Boy beta test, open
Yeah.
beta. So if you'd like to help debug the game, because it's an indie
I was
game,
thinking,
folks. Like
I was thinking
Zoo's
about
pretty
jumping
much
in
had
on
it.
that.
Zoo had to
Mm-hmm.
do a ton of the coding himself, so it's like there's gonna be some bugs. So we would really need the help. Like get in on that and
Mm,
save the empire. You know,
exactly.
damn the man. So, but yeah.
Plus, you get to play a Rob cartoon, basically.
Well, I had very little to do with the game. I know Zoo would probably disagree with that, but I came in fairly late, and so like the designs were kind of already figured out. Like the whole game was like figured out. All I did was change their look, like of the character art.
Mm,
So like I drew the heads, I drew that, and then I did a bit of the cutscenes, but a lot of the opening stuff is another artist and everything. So there's just it's more of like Zoo. I guess he said he had sat on contacting me for like a year, and I'm like, yeah, you probably should have jumped in earlier. So hopefully, like this one does well, we do another game, then I'll be able to be on that one on the ground floor. Help
yeah.
him figure stuff out earlier. But it was just like I'd have suggestions, but it was just too late to do a lot of those things because
They're already past that point in development.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I made some gameplay suggestions which have been helpful,
Mm,
but like there's this where you can climb the ladders. You can climb the ladders like Mega Man, right? He's got this whole Mega Man like ladder climb. But I was
yeah.
like, it'd be really nice, Zoo, if I could just jump, 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 grab, because I don't like holding the button down to climb ladders. And
Mm.
he was like, oh shit. So little shit like that, but all right, let me take this, merge it together, and we'll adjust the pad.
What are you doing? Oh. I have the bathroom window open. I think he's jumping up into it and like meowing out it at birds. Come play with me. I'll be nice.
Hmm.
Guess what? They're not going to believe you.
Is-
Excuse me.
It's a well balanced. It's overall, I think it's a well balanced game. I don't think it's not the kind of like it's easy to make a game that's just super fucking hard. So Zoo tried to spend a lot of time making it, so it's fun, and then you'll hit these pockets of challenge, but I don't think it's too hard, too difficult. It's weird with gamers, man. Sometimes they're like, I want hard, and then they get a game that's hard, like I don't know, Crash Bandicoot 4, and then they're like, oh, it's hard. And like, all right, man, what is it?
Yeah, that
Well,
yeah.
it should be fun too. Like, well, what I don't, that is so subjective. Like, I think some games they should provide. Ultimately, I just think a game shouldn't be any more difficult than Super Mario World overall, unless it's intending to, like Elden Ring or something.
Yeah, like a Souls game.
Because yeah, like because one, we all don't have the fucking world, the life for this,
Yeah,
endlessly fucking difficult games. So you want people to play through the content that you spent the last fucking 2 years making, That'd
yeah,
be nice,
exactly.
right? Hold on. Yeah. So, um,
Like Hollow Knight.
I sort of find if a game warrant makes you want to play it again, I think is the real.
Yeah, that's definitely my key for games. Like I'll always be able to pick up Mega Man 2 and play it. I just love that game.
More of a Mega Man 3.
No, I like 3 too. Actually, pretty
3
much
gave
most
me
of the Mega
Rush
Mans.
Dog and the slide, and
Yeah, you get Rush.
and you get Proto Man, the
Yeah,
first appearance of Proto Man. Yeah, I'm more of a Mega Man 3. I think Mega Man 3 is a unsung hero on the NES.
yeah, that is a great game too. I could probably always pick that one up as well. I mean, I bought the Mega Man collections, so and I'm looking forward to the Cowabunga collection.
Yeah, I heard some things on that. Like, gonna be a lot of licensed music problems on that game.
I could see that.
I don't know. I was hoping there would be net support for the NES and arcade games, you
Yeah,
know, but there isn't. It's like mostly just the fighters. I'm like, I don't care. Like it'd be cooler to play online co-op with Turtles in Manhattan or something. More of like a four guy effect. And if you could add like 4 player to those NES games.
yeah, yeah. I wanted to. I just really want to play the original arcade game again and Turtles in Time.
I got that cabinet, so I just
I don't have
plop that
room for the
sucker up.
cabinet, so
I don't care. I got it right in there. I got the black light. I got space carpeting in there. I got the arcade black light carpeting. I got the black light. I put all that shit on.
yeah. If I
I have. I put on the arcade sounds in the background. Like,
oh, like
yeah,
the boops so you get into your
yeah,
turtle. It's awesome.
yeah, yeah. I did the whole thing, and then I got my poster art behind it. I printed
Very
my
cool.
own poster
Very cool.
because I'm a nerd.
Uh, yeah. I remember when I used to have money and in actual space. It was great.
Oh, I know. Toys for Bob paid for all that. So
Hmm.
I figured, well, I'm not gonna get some disposable income for a while. Might as well use some of it. My wife was like,
Yeah.
"Really, really?" I'm like, "Yeah, it really." I had to tell him like this. I told her that just this, the arcade, the Star Wars arcade cabinet, and
That's another one I'd want. The original Star Wars arcade cabinet.
yeah. So look, I got the arcade one ups of those. I wanted, the only one I would try to find room for. She hates it, but cause she's like, we don't have any more room up here, and I'm kind of don't, but I do have a spot she just wants to use for a bookshelf. I'm like, they could go right there. Is if arcade one up had put out, the red Neo Geos,
Yes. Yep. I know exactly what you're
yeah,
talking
yeah. She was like, I don't know what's a big deal. I'm like, it's a big deal to Rob. Like, big deal to me.
about. Samurai Showdown 2. Oh, I could play that all day. Now the choice of Photoshop. I wanna change this around a little bit. No, not erase everything. There we go.
Yeah, changes.
Yep.
Composition. It's a pain changing composition.
Like Clip
I mean,
Studio
that
just
was
put in a mesh tool and is just like, oh, good, they're finally catching up to what Photoshop does.
well, I was able to even back in 1995 when I started using Photoshop, I was able to just to bring my art in and then flip it and use a mouse and start to recompose stuff. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
you know, I would print it out on paper in like three different parts and then tape it together. And then I would, and I was like, this is amazing. I mean, this alone was a reason to own a computer for it. So I was like, I gotta get a computer in Photoshop. People were like, oh, it seems like it's cheating. And I looked at them like, all right,
So
then I'm a
what?
cheater. I don't fucking care. I don't got time for this. Like cheating. Time for this. I got a bunch of people never drawing telling me how to fucking draw. Sure.
Exactly.
You spent your Thursday night at the pool hall. I'm out here cheating myself. Fuck, I'm not doing this. But I wouldn't own my own computer until uh, 1999. So it took me another 4 years.
Somebody's
I was
showing off
supposed to get
now.
one right when I joined the army, but um, I mismanaged my bonus money. I won't lie. I won't lie. Actually, I didn't get my computer to 2000. Actually, yeah, because I mismanaged my bonus money, and then I got real mad at myself, and then I got my shit into gear and got all that squared away, and then had the money put together by 2000, late 99, early 2000s. I think February, March. It was right when the first GeForce cards came out. Cause I got that. I wanted to
Mm.
get a Mac, but they wouldn't ship to an APO.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. So then I got real mad, and I was like, I'm never gonna fucking want a Mac again. So
So I think I built my first PC in 1995.
I'm not building. People are like, you just build it, it's cheaper. Not anymore, suckers.
No, no, it's not.
So
No, no it's not.
yeah.
No, I don't. I don't have the time or the energy to build a computer anymore. Anyway, it's so much easier for me just to go I buy power and pick something, or a slew of other sites. And even then, you're waiting like God knows how long because of the stupid chip shortages.
I got my new PC right before all that happened.
No,
And my
same
wife
with
at the time was like telling me, oh, I don't know if it's the right time. I'm like, now's the time. I just had to get you. I had to get you. And sure enough, by the time I got mine, all that shit went down. So
yeah, because I got my iMac Pro like right as that happened, and I'm like, well, I'm happy with my Nvidia card. So, uh, I upgraded my mobile studio to Windows 11 while I was in the hospital. Uh,
I
like yeah,
haven't bothered.
I was like yeah, I'll do it. Why not? Threw it on.
Everyone's like, "Well, you get it now, get free." I'm like, you know what? When it actually works, then I'll just pay the 99 fucking dollars. Like I'm not, like, I'm not doing this. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
be a guinea pig. I'm not. This is their beta. I'm not doing beta programs for my operating system.
Mm.
Like I can't be fucking around with it. You know, like
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's
my
like
synth my Cintiq drivers will stop working. Some fucking thing will happen. I'm like, oh, I got time for this. You know.
that's why I always wait on operating system updates for a while with like my iMac and everything because I'm just paranoid because I every time I used to update it would blow away my Cintiq drivers and I was like, nope, I'm not dealing with this.
Yeah, actually, they've been rolling out Windows 11 in the background on PCs for a while now, and for this about this year,
Yeah,
and they're like, get in now and you get it free, and I'm like, no, I'll wait. Like, I got friends who got it, like, it was a fucking nightmare. I'm like, yeah, I'll just sit back. Yeah.
I wasn't
And
having
what
any
about the
problem
secure?
with the mobile studio, but yeah, I was like, yeah, I don't use it as much, so I don't care. What are you saying about security?
Oh, they're like, well, you're gonna miss security updates. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, yeah, okay. You know, like I got 700 fucking other things running, so whatever.
That's just like my less than a year old computer told me I wasn't able to download it anyway.
Now, like I said, if the stuff just worked, it'd be one thing. I'm not
Yeah,
like I don't have some attachment to an operating other than visually. I always have to use Start. You know, was that Start 11? We can make it. It's that third-party software that makes it always look like Windows
look like a
fucking
start
7
button.
or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, have it look like Windows 7, basically.
yeah.
You know, like I mean, with cleaner icons, but like I can't deal with their fucking wall of shit. You know, like every time Brandon needs help with his computer, I log in there and they have the Windows 10 interface. I mean, this is fucking horrible. I don't know why you use this. I mean, I'm a pretty like, I like to put a lot of shit in my art. This is too much. This is not useful.
Yeah. I used to do some tech support stuff, and people ask, "Well, this isn't working. How do I fix it?" I'm like, "All right, go to the start button." No, like there isn't a start button. It's a little Windows icon down in the corner, down bottom left. It used to be called the start button. So if somebody says
Yeah,
start button, hit that.
yeah. They want you to
Where is
download
it
something
again?
to fit
Never
in.
mind.
All right.
Hang up. And they wanted you to download something to help you figure out if your computer is ready to download it. I'm like, nope. Yeah, I was on some pretty good drugs when I was just like, yeah, let's update this and let it go.
Yeah, don't blame. Don't blame. Look, the pharmaceuticals get enough blame. You just made a bad choice.
Literally sitting in the hospital room, dealing with immense
Sure,
amounts
sure,
of pain, just got drugged,
sure.
and I'm like,
Then
I'm not
Alvin
gonna
would be like,
do it
"Look," and then I saw Morbius. It's not my fault. Like,
I haven't gone
it's
that
not my
far yet.
fault. Yeah. Right. All right. Give me a sec. I gotta go pour some coffee. Then I'm gonna
I'll
get
be here.
the other lines done on this.
Yeah, I'll be here to entertain people. Worry. Oh God. I haven't done any drawing in a while. Granted, I think this is also the longest I've sat up straight in a while, but hey. I have no idea. I haven't seen Mobius yet, and from what I saw of some of the reactions, I'm not sure if I will. I might wait for a video. So what's everybody playing now, video game wise? Let's see. Played some Street Fighter V last night. That was entertaining. I'm usually pretty good at Street Fighter, and well, it's doing pretty good. And till my hands basically decided to, nope, we don't want to work anymore. Oh. That's usually my go-to for just, relaxation. I can beat the crap out of people and be happy. Yes, I haven't really done too much since then. I just got home from the hospital on Wednesday, I think. Oh, Guilty Gear is great. I love the art design in Guilty Gear. Oh. I remember I imported the first one to play on my PlayStation 1. Next game, see Kingdom Hearts 2 or replay or Crash 4. Kingdom Hearts 2 is good. I thought 1 was a little boring. 2 I thought was better. Generally, video game wise, usually they do get better with the newer numbers. Kind of like the opposite of movie sequels. For Guilty Gear, let's see. I am definitely partial to the girl with the boat anchor. I can never remember her name, but this is something about beating people to death with a giant boat anchor that I love. Let's see. For Street Fighter, I go between Ryu, Chun-Li, Sakura, Ibuki, Akuma. I can play Ken, but I don't usually play Ken. Akira, I played in some of the earlier versions. I liked her. Cammy. There's a lot of characters I play in those. My main is probably Ryu or Sakura. Sakura just amuses me. Want to do a comic strip that is basically, or a comic that's basically it's kind of a Street Fighter idea. Yeah, May. That's it. The anchor user is May. Yeah, there's something I just like about her beating people to death with an anchor. There's the Kenshin inspired character. I like her too. She's like missing an arm. I think she's kind of neat. I can't remember her name. So many fighting games. Yeah, Biken. That's it. Yeah, she's cool. I like her a lot. Oh. And what is it? They also have what was it? King of Fighters. The new one just came out. Probably gonna get that eventually. I played a little bit of the open beta of it. I'll probably pick it up when they do their first like content update. Yeah, Biken they definitely went crazy with the boobs because I think she used to have smaller boobs in earlier ones. But hey, I mean, most fighting games used to have the obligatory sit on your face maneuver for the female characters, not to the male characters. So yeah, and Saul and Jacko, yeah. Mm. Yeah, I got a couple of the Guilty Gears on the was it the PS Now thing or whatever that I throw on and play on occasion. I need to get the new one. And of course, boobs. Because I mean, where can you go wrong with boobs? So, I know you meant typo. Yeah, like my best friend Jeremy, he's really into like the fighting game story arcs and like watching people play. He doesn't like playing them, but he loves like watching. He knows like everything about every game. Soul Strong husband. Parents full of waifus and husbandos. Yeah, that's very true. Even Faustus has a husbando. I love it. He's just a freak. Yeah, Faust is a fun-looking character. The doctor with a bag over his head. One of my villains is basically a butcher who wears a paper bag over his head. It's surprisingly referred to as Baghead. No, Faust is a good thing. Any games people are looking forward to? New One Piece game, maybe. Loved World Seeker. Could see that. That could be fun. Yeah, One Piece is that crazy long anime series everybody loves. I have a friend who's obsessed with the manga. Hunters. I've watched a good bit of it. I've enjoyed what I've seen overall. I'm not as obsessed as a few people I know. Something about the animation that always throws me with it, though. I think it's the style. I mean, one of my favorite animes that they did was the Kenshin OVAs. Love the look of those. Yeah. Oh, that's good. Well, glowy in a great way is good because glowy is usually bad. So,
Yeah, it turns out I was out of coffee, so to make that.
I figured you had to make some new coffee.
So 10 more minutes, gotta go down and actually pour a cup. Make tea instead.
Well, it
While
works.
that's cooking. All right. So let's just take this stuff. And then we'll duplicate, fill with white. Oh, probably help if I actually set that to center. There. And then we'll turn that down.
So the topic came up. What games are you playing today, Rob?
Games.
Yeah.
It's called drawing, the drawing game.
Yeah.
I bought Kirby, so I'm hoping to be able to play that for about 30 minutes a night, starting sometime today or tomorrow, right before I go to sleep. Games kind of put me to sleep, so um, love the soundtrack.
Mm,
So yeah, so Kirby's the one I'll be playing through for the foreseeable future,
makes sense.
and then um, I really wish I could just stream my PS5 to my Switch or something. I like to play them when I'm asleep because then I can just. I like the way my TV looks, but I like to also play when I can just fall right the fuck to sleep. Like Super Mario, New Super Mario World on the Wii U was the first game I had beaten since Psychonauts in
Damn.
2004. Because I didn't have the time to sit in the TV and play. Like it wasn't until I could stream it, like
Yeah.
as I go to sleep. So, and none of the portable games ever warranted me finishing them.
Mm.
until 3D Mario Land. 3D Mario Land. I think I beat that twice. So that's how much I like that game.
That's one of the reasons I go to fighting games because I can get a couple of matches in and be done.
I know, but I used to. It's hard for me because I used to actually do that for money back in the day. I'd go to Sunnyvale,
Mm.
play in the little tournaments. I never got hired in like 50th place, but
Still,
Alex Val and Graham Wolf taking up all the fucking wins. But but these days I suck now. I'm like, just never thought Kirby was cute until I watched. Yeah, I'm glad they gave me a universe worth exploring. I need a universe that is worth exploring. And Kirby so far hasn't presented. The last Kirby game that I really enjoyed was was it Rainbow Course on the DS when you could draw the lines.
mm.
You could draw the paths. So it was kind of like he was a little bit more like Sonic, but you were drawing the path that you could like flick them, and
Yeah.
I mean that was super good. Like my buddy, I played my buddy's version of it, and then I went and imported the black DS from Japan, the fatty, yeah, just for that game. Oh, son of a bitch, I forgot. So that's what I love about Psychonauts. It's just a great world.
Yeah. Psychonauts is great. You hear they're bringing back Venus de Milo?
Yeah, I've talked about that. I can give two shits less.
Yeah, same.
So like I'm not against a female turtle. I just the original fifth turtle was supposed to be Kirby.
Yep.
And I think making Kirby an intergalactic turtle, you know what I mean? Like a
Hmm.
bounty hunter Boba Fett type, like that
Yeah.
was hunting down the Ebroms or helping the Ebroms, however you want to do it, would be a better fucking thing than bringing back anything from that show. Like
Yeah, I agree.
no one gave a shit about that show when it came out. Anyone who fucking says it's great, they're out their fucking minds.
Yep.
Like
Completely
it
agree.
that shit almost ended Turtles as we know it, you know?
Yep. That was terrible.
So yeah.
Then they crossed over with Power Rangers.
None of this is good. None of this is good. So
I like the comic that crossed over with Power Rangers. I thought that was fun.
yeah, yeah. I actually bought it. Good art. But
Yeah.
that all being said, like again, Power Rangers works good as a cartoon. I just don't give a shit. A cartoon, or if it was actually shot in the 70s in Japan when they shot on film because it has a cool look to it.
Yeah.
That's it. Modern, clean, no film grain. You know, I'm not interested in that. And apparently no one else is because no one went to see that fucking movie. So I got friends go, it
Yep.
was actually pretty good. I'm like, and no one saw it. So, like the fans are just they're not how do I say it, man? Look, let me give you an example of something I love that, you know, I love Dragon Half. I don't think there's a giant fucking market for it. So,
No, there's not. But Dragon Half was fun. That's like
yeah.
what, two OVAs of it or something?
Yeah, but it has a giant. It's the manga's complete. It's a giant. I got all the volumes. Like
Yeah.
it's super, and it's super good. But I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like, but it was great. It was great. The anime is great. It's still probably the funniest anime I've ever seen. Um, it doesn't have a large audience.
No, no, it does not. It didn't have a large audience then either. So,
No. I mean,
they
Power
don't
Rangers
want
have a
to.
large audience. Doesn't have the kind of audience that's driven down to theaters to justify a $300 million budget. You know, it has to be made cheaply, and I just think it works better as a cartoon. Like if Power Rangers look like Studio Trigger and shit, I'd probably be watching all the fucking time. Like somewhere
Hmm.
between Studio Trigger and Yonan Vasquez.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You're moving to California next month. It is oh so scary. Well, California's a big place. Where? you know, like if you're moving to San Clemente, that's a whole lot less scary than Northern California or Oakland.
It's a bird in the bush right outside of my window, and it was
Los
tormenting a cat.
Angeles or Pasadena. Yeah, yeah, yeah. At least with Pasadena, you saw those buildings from the 30s lying around everywhere,
Yep.
you know. But let me just tell you something. Be very careful about where you park because they love to set up this whole don't park here between some fucking time other than another fucking time. And then they'll tell your shit. Or you'll get a $50 fucking uh, ticket. They love to switch up the fucking no parking tricks out there. I mean, I'm born and raised in California, and like every time I go to LA, it's always a crapshoot if I'm gonna get a ticket because of some bullshit parking rule they changed. Or they're like, "Didn't you see the sign?" I'm like, "Where?" And it's like hidden behind a fucking berry bush. You're like, "Thank you."
Yeah.
An e-bike, right? Yeah, if you can, man. Just tough because everything's at such a weird distance.
Yeah, LA is definitely odd.
I mean, there are parts. I mean, like when Tarantino shot Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, some of that's not a lot of digital replacement. Like it's still there.
Right.
So there's a lot of cool parts. There is some cool stuff.
I saw the first Hellboy movie in the was the Man's Chinese Cinema. That was kind of cool.
Did you get swamped by Spider-Man dudes
No,
sitting
no,
out there trying to take photos?
no. This was I just basically walked in and that was it. Just walked right by all of them. Like, ah, I don't care about you people.
Yeah, it's like Times Square down there. Yeah.
No, Times Square is crazy.
Yeah, the last time we went to New York, these guys are like from Jersey and shit, but I carry myself a certain way. So no one bugs the fuck out of me for photos. But these guys look like total fucking marks. So they're getting harassed left and right. I'm like, I'm not having any of this shit. Like, I mean, Frankfurt wasn't any different. Like, you go to Frankfurt, I don't
Mm.
mind being a tourist, but they can tell the kind of tourist they can get. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, and you ain't getting shit from Rob. I do real good pretending you don't even exist. You know?
Hmm. No, my friend Murray and I, we went out to New York Comic Con a few years ago, and we went to the con for the day, wandered around, that type of thing. And it's like, all right, let's get something to eat. So we're like wandering around, like, well, we're staying right in Times Square. Let's head around here. And a lot of
You
crazy
know, if you
people.
just go 3 blocks down to the left, you're gonna find some more affordable, really fantastic.
That's basically
Literally
what we did.
3 blocks. Yeah.
That's literally pretty much what we did. We found a barbecue place that was like, I couldn't believe how good it was in New York City. So don't remember the name of it. Don't care.
Yeah, well,
We
I mean,
walked,
New Yorkers don't want to eat the same shit every day, you know?
yeah, just remember we were walking by and just you could smell it, and we're like, yeah, that's the place. We walked in and they're like, oh yeah, like 5 minutes, I'll have a seat for you. I'm like, oh, okay, it's great. Saturday night, Times Square. Yeah, Verizon had me out in, was it like out in Andover, like where I live in. I was living in Rhode Island at the time, in Andover, Massachusetts. Bit of a distance from there. It's north of Boston and everything. So I had to go up there to for like a month. So they put me up in a hotel for a month. And when I signed up for it, I got all these Marriott points. And I was like, oh, okay. So went to stay for New York Comic Con in Times Square. Is like didn't cost us a dime.
Nice. Yeah, we were real lucky. My buddy that lives out in Jersey just put us all up at his place. So,
Yeah, it works.
but that was when it flooded. So like we woke up, the whole fucking area was flooded. Like we got a canoe. You can see the photos if you ever go. Like it's hilarious. Like I was like, all right. Apparently, their house was on stilts because it had been raised from a flood 20 years back.
Mm.
But a lot of the other people in the neighborhood weren't. Not good. Deleter Maru
Uh,
got point
is
still.
that during with the hurricanes?
I don't. This was some flooding thing they had back in. This was 2018, 2019, 2019.
Mm. Oh, I
But
remember that
they
now.
the last time I had flooded in that area was like in the 80s. So they hadn't
Yeah.
experienced that in a long time. But that house that they were in had been built, so it got raised because of that.
Mm. Are Marriott points still a thing? I don't know anymore because this is going back to like maybe 2015. I can't remember the year we went, but actually, yeah, I think it was 2015.
Yeah, that's where I used to always do my my writing. Was at the Marriott's. I would just find any Marriott lounge because they're open 24 hours, and I just go in there. There was like 5 different ones on the way home from work, so I'd just stop at any one of them. Way better than a coffee shop.
Mm.
So if they had paid coffee, I'd get one. If not, then I'd bring my own. But I'd just sit there and write.
You ever asked to leave?
No, they don't care. Yeah, I've worked at hotels doing security. Those desk people, they're just there. As long as if you're just sitting there working, and you look professional, they don't give two shits.
I used to
They're
work
just
with
there to.
Sheridan. I did their overnight books, and that'd just be like sitting, in the room behind where the guy was taking, checking everybody in, and we didn't give a shit who was in there.
No, they don't care.
As long as they're not
Yeah.
loud, we didn't care.
And even if one does matter, Ashley, there's another fucking Marriott within 4 fucking miles. Let's go to that one. Like
My audit,
it's
that's what I do.
never go to a coffee shop to write. Never go to any place where everyone's supposed to go to do something because they fucking never shut up. Like
Yep.
can't get shit done in there, you know. And the minute you get your car, they want you to. I just a lot of people are in there doing work too because they do businesses. What's the one, the Marriott Residencies? Those are the best ones,
Hmm.
or whatever.
Yeah,
Where is it?
that's the place I stayed at. Was Marriott
Yeah.
Residence.
But you stay right at the lounges. If it's
Yeah, I
nice
had
outside on a Sunday, then you can go outside and the patios and always somewhere to write. They got Wi-Fi too, so I just log right into that fucking shit and use my Google
Yep.
Drive. Mm-hmm. Marriott hopping, 100%. And so then what I would do when we would travel, Ashley, I would stay at a Marriott. So because they would leave me the fuck alone. So they get my business one way or the other, but they were the best. Like layovers for free share. Right. Now I've just learned, I mean, even before COVID, I just fucking stay home and write. I don't got time for this. I'm not leaving my house to go somewhere. But when I had an apartment, it made total sense,
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't want to be in my apartment.
I can respect that feeling. I'm telling you, the birds don't want to play with
Like
you.
libraries. Yeah, but a library is not open at 7 o'clock at night when you get off work.
Not
So
typically.
I need a place that's 24 hours. I operate on a different work schedule than most people.
Yeah, I tend to get my best stuff done at like 3 in the morning my time. Less things around to distract me.
Oh, man. All right, let's get this part drawn. Yeah, head on out, bro. No stress. So
Yeah. Yes, my body is craving solid food right now, and I'm at least another week before I can have any.
yeah, I had to live off tapioca pudding in the army when I got. They did both my wisdom teeth removal. It went
Mm.
horribly wrong, and so I was just living off pudding for a week. It was Super Bowl weekend, 2000.
Oh, it sucks. I don't really care about the football game, but I do like the snacks.
No, I didn't give a shit, but like I just that was the weekend.
Uh, Fair enough.
Smelling pizza all weekend, in the
Uh,
barracks. Can't have none. Like
yeah,
enjoying
I'm
my
craving pizza
tapiocas.
right now.
Maybe my PC belongs to the highway. Yeah, gotta go to the city to work. You want to be on productions, you gotta be in LA. That's for certain. It sucks.
Then I got the fun things like, oh, you can have chicken broth. I'm like, oh yeah, that's delicious. Jello
What
is
am I,
my
a
favorite.
schnauzer? Like
Exactly.
little schnauzer would be so happy about that, but it's like
exactly. Like, oh yeah, you can have this. I'm like, oh, joy. I was in the hospital and they brought out some of it, and I was just like, I had a couple of sips of it, and I'm like, nope, going for the Jello. Frozen yogurt and oatmeal. I can have frozen yogurt. I can have yogurt in general. I had a yogurt smoothie the other day.
Oh, I just enjoy Greek yogurt
Yeah, I
by
like Greek
itself.
yogurt. Yeah, I do too. That's something I can have. And I can have all the water I can drink.
That's not true. You can kill yourself doing that.
That's true, but I can't actually drink a lot of water right now, so it's all the water that I can drink.
Yeah, Pasadena is definitely nicer than downtown LA.
Yeah, when I've seen in Pasadena, I can definitely say it's better than downtown LA.
Like I said, you still have all that architecture from the 30s out there. Looks like Chinatown. The movie, not
Yeah.
Chinatown.
Yep. So let's see. What are the 4 years I've been diagnosed with MS now? This is basically the time frame I found out when I had MS. Uh,
Yeah, my cousin found out in 2002,
mm,
3, 4, somewhere around there. Pretty sure it's on South Main Street.
yeah, my friend.
Pack a six shooter. Well, I wouldn't walk down the street carrying a laptop. That would be
No.
random. I don't know
I
about a six shooter. I mean,
can tell you that all of my what was it, my cop relatives, which I have a lot of, say don't carry anything smaller than a 45. My grandfather, when he was a Boston cop, he used to come home. He had like a 38. Then one day he started coming home and he had um was it 44 Magnum? Like, what do you think you are, Dirty Harry? He goes, no. I go, I don't need to draw this. You'll just see it.
the rent looks good. So I can see why. Yeah, yeah, there's a reason for it.
700 a month. I'd love that. Just
You
yeah,
also you also want to be careful too if you're gonna. People watch what you put in. They just watch what you put into your apartment.
yep.
So I'd be more worried about that than anything else. Yeah.
That's true in a lot of places that you go. You got to really be careful of who's out there watching when you move in and stuff, and what you take in when you move in. Mm. I mean, one of the things about when I have to move into a place, if it's like in a really open area of like a city or something like that, it's like I don't tell people I'm the one moving in. It's much safer that way for me.
Yeah, if you got to move into a rough neighborhood, man, just make sure you buy something that everyone sees you putting in your apartment that'll scare them, like a scary clown or,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I'm just gonna say, people in the people in certain sects of society are superstitious.
pretty mildly.
Yeah, if you're a guy who's got scary clowns, they may never come by. Just letting you know.
Just get like a creepy doll, like a beat up creepy doll on eBay, and just hang it in the window.
Yeah,
Be surprised how much of a deterrent that is.
yeah, yeah. I'm giving you the real tips, my friend. I'm just telling.
My friend Jess, her and her fiance just bought a place, and apparently they found this creepy doll in the attic, and I'm just like, this is a horror movie starting out right here.
Yeah, it's an origin story.
Yeah. They're always like, oh yeah, whenever we talk about it, weird shit happens to her fiance. It's like, yeah, you're haunted. Just leave the doll. If you start finding it in different rooms, move. Make sure you don't take the doll.
Yeah, everyone will go. That's the dog guy, and they'd stay away from
Yeah,
you. I'm
exactly.
just telling. Look, doesn't help if you're bringing a date over, but you just let them know. You know, they'll know the plan.
Hmm. Night, Secretary. Yeah. The
I was always when I was in the army, I was always worried they'd come in and use my computer, even if I had a password. I just didn't trust anyone because my roommate, who didn't live with me in the barracks all full time, he would just show up on the weekends or
mhm.
on a day off because he lived off post. But I wanted to keep him off specifically, so he's superstitious. He's one of those guys. So I got that scene from I put a little together from Psycho with Marion screaming in the drain. Like that was like that was that was the my desktop, image, and
That's
that just kept
awesome.
him off. That just kept him off. You like he would just look at us like, "What is wrong with you?" And I'm like, "Hey man, I'm white." Like,
One of
there's a
Marion's
lot wrong with
inventions.
us. Did you not see Columbine like about a year ago? Like, you know.
Someone should invest in a Walmart for a shark collection. Yeah, exactly.
Let's
It's
see.
just one creepy looking doll, and you just hang it in the window. I do mean hang it in the window.
Just practice, Vishal. Just practice. Plus, I'm not really trying to make everything look perfect, so I think that perfectness. Some people pull it off in real life, like Jeff Smith, but I'm not Jeff Smith. So.
Yeah.
Digitally, it's a lot of weird. I don't know.
Yeah, Jeff Smith's also comes from an animation background, so
Yeah, a lot of animators can't draw though, Ash. I don't know. There's a joke, a running joke I used to hear amongst my my animator teachers and friends is those who can't draw do walk cycles. So, so yeah, sure, but that's not, it's a
well, he can
brilliant
draw. So,
illustrator. Yeah, you can use a brush perfectly.
he was
And no
doing
one's
both in
inking,
college.
yeah, no one's doing brush work in animation. It's a lot of loose art,
That
and
is
it
very
very
loose.
rarely is anything ever finished. Like matter of fact, I thought doing 2D animation would make me a better artist. Kind of made me a little bit of a worse artist in that I could never take anything to completion. Like I could do great key stuff and like breakdowns, but I would need an inker or something to finish.
Yeah,
And so it took me years to get that part worked out. I just think we see cats like Chris Sanders and like the best of the best, and we think that they're all like that. And it's like, no,
no, they're not.
you
But
know,
yeah,
a lot of them are just they're cool with sitting there for years working on 30-second bits. Doing all the grunt work. It's like,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Yeah, I remember I was watching the documentary on Jeff Smith, and he was talking about how, which is one of his friends was talking about. It's like, oh yeah, he drew bone in college with a college paper because he didn't want to waste his time with pencils. He just went right to ink, and he was that good
Yeah,
that he could pull it off.
I'm not one of them cats.
Yeah,
Me, no, not at all.
yeah, I'm definitely not that good. I don't see myself ever being that good. Plus, I like roughing things out in pencil and then inking it to straighten everything out.
Draw this Triceraton here.
Yeah, I love the Triceraton on that.
It's like the bad boy stickers, right?
Yeah, the its original comics really pushed my imagination back then. I really loved them. What are these Triceratons? Well, I wanted to draw dinosaur people with laser guns. Okay.
Well, it's the Kirby element, you
Yeah,
know? Everyone
exactly.
goes, it's all like a Frank Miller. I'm like, no, Kirby is the other influence. And so, like,
Yeah.
if they were ever going to do new Turtles, they should have, only two ever should have been added, Kirby and Miller, you know?
Mm.
Like, that would have been it. And specifically, Kirby that should have been the one.
Yeah.
Someone that I brought that up on a previous stream, and someone was like, "But they're named after Renaissance painter." I'm like, "Yeah, the first four ones, because Splinter named them, but the Turtles would name after shit they loved, and they love Jack Kirby comics. That's who they name it after.
Yeah.
You know, make him make him or her. I don't care. Kirby's he could be a girl.
Doesn't
Make
matter.
her a intergalactic. You know, fucking bounty hunter like the Mandalorian. Fighting the Triceratons and shit. Like teaming up with Fugitoid. Like.
That'd be cool.
Or hunting Fugitoid. So,
Yeah, that could be fun.
an enemy at first, right?
Yeah.
I don't want this to be perfect.
Okay, now I just want to see you draw some Triceratons.
That's the problem with commissions is you gotta jump around, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like
And you said it's gonna be another colored pencil piece.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
I'm only doing scribblies now.
Yeah,
You
that
know,
makes sense. I really like your scribblies. So
this took me a while to figure out like what level of rendering is
mhm.
financially responsible. You know,
Yeah,
for me, for everyone, time wise. And
yeah,
so I got it
exactly.
worked out now. But like I spent the better part, like that was one of the things I was doing behind the scenes. Like, okay, what part? I was like studying my videos when I was doing, like the Sonic stuff, and I'm like, what part was this good enough? Like,
Yeah.
I was like, right there. What time was that? 4 hours in. There's another fucking 12 hours of rendering. You
Yep.
see, so it's like that's where I'm like, all right, I gotta stop here. You know. So I always get one person who goes, I like the really clean stuff. I'm like, that's never happening. So if you'd like that, I'll charge you 5 grand. Part of it's an inconvenience fee, but for
For
5 grand, I'll do it. You know,
5 grand, I'd do it.
but
Just,
but that's it. So
it won't be as good as yours, but I'll do it for 5 grand.
yeah. So I'm at that point now where I'm like, you really like it that much, you better show me the money because I'm not doing it.
Mm.
you know, like even with the Sandman stuff, like I can do that. It just takes longer, and it's like there's no point to it.
Yeah, those
So
Sandman ones I love.
yeah, but
Yeah,
there's
buy some
no
prints for
point to
those.
it. So all right, where are we at here? How long have I been doing it? 2.5 hours. Pretty good.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
220.
11:30.
It's 1:30 here.
I'm definitely coloring this, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to color it in stream. I don't know because I should be doing it, but I want to get it done. So
Sun next moon
we'll
is
see.
good morning from the Philippines.
Yeah, I think I colored the last two streaming,
You do.
so
Yeah.
it's enough because I gotta. All right, I'm back for that. What is this? This is the art commission. So I'm gonna do color pencils off camera because I got shit to do today, and I want to get this done. And but I'll be doing more commissions this week. I got to wrap all that stuff up. I got a Scud commission. I got a giant Scud commission.
Oh,
I
the Scud
got
Roughies I saw. Those look like they're gonna be fun.
there's a simple one and a triptych. So the simple one I'm gonna add Oswald to,
Oh, cool.
um, because I think Oswald would look good to the left of Scud.
Mm.
And then the big triptych is that Patreon content? No, no, I don't have a Patreon, Charles. Sorry. That's just I gotta get the shit done on time content. So
Yes.
you'll see the final on my Instagrams and stuff, and I'll have prints available in the shop. So
Good.
also I have prints right now. Let me hold on. Let me do a little self promotion here.
Definitely.
Let me go to the shop. Make sure the shop's actually open. Bring this open. So I do put my commissions up as prints when I'm done. Let me stop sharing, and then we'll jump to here at shopsketchcraft.com.
Yep.
So I have the Last Turtles pieces as 16 by 20 posters. These are really, really good prints, by the way. These aren't cheap. And so um, you can see the last scribblies. Oh, but you can see.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know why it's
Oh,
doing that. I know it's doing that weird thing. I got
yeah.
that in there. I'm gonna have some rando. I put sketches up usually, like our original artwork up. That's pretty cheap. I'll put that stuff up later this week. Like this
Mm.
person just bought one, Britain, and she came back and bought like fucking another $100 worth of stuff. Super, super nice.
60
So
by 30 poster. That's huge.
yeah, it's big. And look, $60, not bad, right?
That's like
So
fair price first.
it's a fair price. I could be charging 100. I could, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you, every year it's gonna go up a little bit.
You would get 100 for that.
So you get in now, you get the good price. But a year or two from now, this might be 120 for that sort of thing. So the prices are going up, but I do have some of these at 12 by 18, and I do have the big tribute thing I did, and I do also have little promo. If you go to the second page or third page, let's see, third page, I got 20 by 30s up for $80.
Oh, nice.
So, and this is the
I
one
don't
I
think I
have
have the.
behind my arcade cabinet,
I
right?
don't think I have the space for something that big.
That that is the thing. But everything else, it's all up in here, folks. All my art's up here. Original art coming up this week. Shopsketchup.com. And I'm gonna head out of here, folks. Thanks for hanging out. If
You
you'd
got a
like to
minute?
support me,
Yeah.
give me the Ko-fi. Go check out Allison's show. Right?
Yep.
Allison,
Peter Palmiotti, and you can also find me an Alley Cat on Patreon. I'm be doing a Patreon
th-
comic.
thanks for hanging out, Allison. Peace,
Thank
everybody.
you. Can I bug you out?